Hi, this is Brad with Baker County Trash Pickup. Today we have some preventative maintenance to do on the garbage truck. The last time we did this was April 2025 at 319 hours and 4,200 miles. We're waiting for a little more daylight. We're almost there. We're going to be doing our oil and oil filter change. We have our fuel filter for the water separator. We have our engine fuel filter. We've got an air filter. And then our normal greasing, we are also going to do the drive shaft and kingpin greasings today as well. Something I forgot to do last time, this is one of the oil engine analysis kits you can get off of Amazon. This one's from Under My Hood. This isn't sponsored. I've wanted to do this, one, to get a baseline on the composition of what's going on in that engine. It's a brand new truck. I think I bought it with 200 miles, but just to get a baseline, and then also to see how does this thing work? Are these things worth anything? When they give you an engine analysis, what comes with it? This is the first Sunday in October, so it's been about 6 months. We're at 636.5 hours. I aim for around 300 hours for the services. Our miles are 7,796. If you just go by the computer on the Isuzu, it's a 10,000 mile interval, and that's all it really considers. This is just a countdown. Once you reset it, it'll go back to 10,000 miles. Ideally, you won't go off of miles because of the fact that garbage trucks, they stop, get a trash can, go a little bit, stop, get a trash can, go a little bit, stop, get it. If you're just going on miles, this thing's doing a lot more work than that. Ours ends up kind of balancing out if you went 3,000 miles because we do have a little bit of a haul to the landfill. So every day we've got, I don't know how many miles, maybe 40 or 50. If I can find out, I'll put the number here. That is just driving on the highway to and from the landfill. Obviously that'll change as we get more customers and spend more time picking up trash relative to going to the landfill to dump it. I don't know enough to say this is a how-to. This is just a how I do it. Maintenance on this Isuzu is relatively straightforward. I like it a lot. It's pretty easy to do, so it shouldn't give you any trouble. But we're probably 10-15 minutes away from being able to work with some decent daylight. So I'm just going to go ahead and start idling this thing to warm up the fluids a little bit. While that's warming up, I'll go ahead and grease everything on the back. That's not really worth filming. You've seen that before. First thing we'll do is the engine air cleaner. You don't have to tip the cab first for this. I'm just tipping the cab first because I'm going to have to do it sooner or later, so I might as well do it sooner. And since this is a Florida morning, everything is wet, so I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I'm just going to kind of dry off some of the connection surfaces. The risk of water getting anywhere is lower. It's already pretty low. I will say, I'm no engineer, but the way that this body is designed up top, can I show you safely? No, I can't. I'm going to do it anyways. The way this thing is designed is that when it's level, water pools to those back corners. You can still see some already. And that second you hit anything other than perfectly level, all that water channels, channels through both of the things. Over there it doesn't matter. But all the water smashes right into the air cleaner intake, or the air intake. It's the stupidest design I've ever seen. And I think because of the way the fins are, it should be okay. Most of the water hits below those fins where it opens, but there is splashback that gets on there. I don't know if anything gets in there though. The inside of that, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but it looks pretty dry to me. See that? That actually does look wet, doesn't it? So, is it the end of the world? Somebody who knows more about diesel engines than me can tell you, but water does get in there because it just rushes and sprays all on that. So that is more than a little bit annoying, just because water is not good for engines. This air cleaner is just 3 little things that flip off. You can see, this is one of the good reasons to do it. I think this is the aftermath of love bug season maybe. Looks like we got some little bugs in there. And the seam in the filter, which is right here, that should go up at 12 o'clock. This is our old one. Here's our old and new compared. Looks like there is some dust in here. We'll go ahead and clean out too. And this does have a specific way it goes up as well. There we go. That's your air filter done. I think these things are like 60 bucks a piece, something like that. Boy, I did not do that neatly. I forgot this stupid thing again. So now we're going to take the engine oil filter off. Here's that split second of panic. Am I twisting this the correct way? I think I am. Oh, it's wedged against a bolt. That's why it's not moving anymore. It's like it started to move and then stopped. I don't know why. Okay. I had somebody say it's not recommended to fill the new oil filter, and I'm trying to figure out if they meant required or recommended, because it doesn't make much sense that someone would say it's not recommended to do that. New oil filter, and it's pre-filled. Again, I can't imagine why it would be a bad thing to pre-fill it. I don't know enough about diesel engines to know that, but the other reason I think it can't be bad to pre-fill it is I can't think of why it would be good to have this as empty air. You know, when it's designed to operate with engine oil in it, why wouldn't it be good to pre-fill it? That's my reasoning, at least. All right, now the pipe strap might be good for tightening it. Let's see. That should be a little bit more than hand tight. And again, you can tell me if I'm doing that wrong, but that's what makes sense to me. Somebody gave me a good tip about turning these bottles sideways so air gets into it quicker. Thanks for that tip. It does cut down on the glug glug. Might be good. We'll let everything sit a little while longer. I'll test it, I'll run it, I'll test it again. But we're pretty close to being good on oil level. Now I could be wrong. I think this is some kind of air release, air vacuum release. But you can hear some gurgling when you undo it, which you kind of need for this thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. I used the nut on the bottom of that, I think, to spin it. So I have a 1 1/4, way too big. 1 1/8, that might work. 1 1/16, that works. So no clue what millimeter that is, but 1 1/16 inch. Oh, this makes me nervous. Okay, we're okay. Okay, so it is spinning. Whoa. The new fuel filter box is a good thing to hold this while you put all this on. Our old fuel filter. So this kind of just slides in. Am I missing something that holds it in? I don't think so. There's something in there that indents to something up there. I just can't tell what. Maybe it's just a friction fit. I don't know. I don't remember. So there's air in here, which is no good. This is a pump that is kind of locked right now. When we change this fuel filter, there's a little bleeder valve. That should be where we can push all the air out from. I'm gonna do this back up. So there's a bunch of O-rings on this that you got to make sure you replace. That just slides off. This guy just secures to the bottom with an O-ring, so you kind of got to push it out. Ooh, probably best not to drop that on the concrete though. Then there's this spring at the bottom. That kind of matches up with the bottom of the fuel filter and keeps it pushed up. So there's your first O-ring. You've got two O-rings where this guy, the big one goes on the bottom, the small one goes on top. So then that goes back in there like that. We put our spring back in. put our new fuel filter. And then the last O-ring goes on our plug at the bottom. And we'll go ahead and reinstall this. This one's a little tricky too because you can't twist the fuel filter body because that's just held on by an O-ring. So you really have to only turn this bolt down here, and it's kind of a quarter turn at a time thing. All right, so that's pretty tight. Now, what I'm hoping is that by pumping this, you will be able to see, I'll have to zoom in, but you'll be able to see air leaving that, hopefully coming out of there. So I still need to grease the kingpins and everything underneath, but we're gonna have to do that in a few hours. The oil is a little bit past the high mark. I still have to run this and let everything cycle. We'll address that later too. All right, folks, that's it. We will send this guy off and I'll show you what the results look like. This is what our card looks like. So we put this in this bag with this card and seal it up in here, and then we mail it off. Just to be safe, we'll put some insurance on that. And this is what that oil analysis test result looks like. It did take me, I think, a couple of weeks to end up getting it. It took a while, but I did get it, and I'm thinking these are parts per million. Nothing actually tells you what these measurements are, so I don't know. Some of them are not parts per million, though, so that's the confusing thing, is if you look up, you know, chrome in engine oil, aluminum in engine oil, it's pretty interesting. AI Overview gives you kind of a synopsis of what each chemical or what each measurement means or what it does. So for instance, calcium is there to be an anti-acid agent. I know that's not the right word. I'm going off of memory. I can't remember. Some of these lower amounts that are single digits, like antimony, that's something that indicates wear in an engine. So it's actually good that I don't have any. Same thing with chrome. Certain metals mean that your engine is failing or wearing, and that's ending up in the oil. So not super clear what any of this means. I mean, it is good that there's no water, fuel, or antifreeze, and it gives you a little interpretation there, but with a little searching, you can find out more about each one of these levels. I think the most helpful thing it will give me is a benchmark that over time I can see if some of these numbers are decreasing or some of them are increasing, and kind of make an informed decision about what's going on with the engine from that information. We've greased the kingpins and the U-joints underneath. We've checked the oil. It's right in the middle of the 2 lines, so that should be good to go, or 2 circles. And we've got another maintenance completed on the garbage truck. I think this will be the most well-documented truck maintenance series ever on YouTube. If we ever have to sell this thing, this will come in handy, these videos, but hopefully we don't. This is about what that total maintenance costs. It's about something you got to do a couple times a year, at least we are. That's kind of the schedule we're at with our usage of it. I'm sure that'll go up. But if you've got any questions, the best way to get a hold of me is sending me an email. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.